Hey guys, on today's episode of College Volleyball Fit, we are talking about a much overlooked aspect of the recruiting process that I think a lot of athletes are missing out on. So stay tuned. All right, so for this episode of College Volleyball Fit, the ultimate guide, we are looking at creating your list. And I want to talk about 5 specific things when it comes to creating your list. The first thing is to understand the importance of creating a list. We're not just writing down a bunch of names on a piece of paper. We are doing research. We're looking up schools. We're looking up college coaches. We're looking at rosters. We're looking at academics. We are doing all of those things. And when we do that, we get a much better sense of what the location is like, what the program is like. There's so many volleyball programs out there, right? We're talking about 1,000 across the country, Division 1, 2, and 3. And we know very little about majority of the volleyball programs across the country. So when we do a little bit of research, it helps us understand where we're trying to go and what we're trying to do. So creating your list is important. When you have your list, you have a foundation that you can go back to. You have a list of schools that you can go back to and reach out when things aren't going great. Maybe when you haven't heard from schools in a little bit. Oh, what do I do now? I'm not sure where to go or who to email. You have your list of schools. You have your core and your foundation piece to keep you going through the process, because you have to keep going through the process if you want to play volleyball in college. Okay, so that's thing number 1. Understanding that creating a list is important. Second thing is, do not wait for your list to be perfect. If you wait for your list to be perfect, you are potentially missing opportunities, because you're going days and weeks and even months before you really hone in on that perfect list of schools. And it's just really unnecessary. And in those weeks and months that you're honing in on your perfect list of schools, you could be sending emails. You could be reaching out to schools. You could be getting on the phone. You could be having them come watch you play, right? If we're missing out on college coaches watching us play live, that's a huge miss. And we definitely don't want to do that. So don't wait to reach out to schools until your list is perfect. Don't do that. You find a school that fits a couple categories, checks a couple boxes for you, send them an email, reach out, communicate. Don't wait for your list to be honed in and perfect before you start communicating. We're just missing on opportunities. Okay, thing number 3. One of the biggest mistakes that I see athletes make when it comes to building their list is they get hyper-focused on only parts of what they're looking for. We talked about fit in one of the other videos. And yes, we want to find schools that check a bunch of the boxes. Yes, we want to find schools that are in the right location. Yes, we want to find schools that have the academic program that we want. Like, all of those things are totally true. One of the things that athletes miss on is we go, oh, I want to go to school in Florida. What are the Division 1 schools in Florida? And we email those schools, and maybe they're interested, maybe they're not. So whenever we have a criteria or a filter like location or size of school, right? We want to email all of those schools that fit that. So if I want to go to college in Florida because of the beach and the sun and all that kind of stuff, and Florida's really nice, I want to email all the schools that are in Florida. I want to email all the Division 1 schools. I want to email all the Division 2 schools. I want to email the NAIA schools because there's no Division 3 schools in Florida. I want to email all the schools that are in that area, okay? Maybe I'm a good fit for some of the Division 1 schools, and maybe I'm borderline. Maybe some of the Division 2 schools are going to have a roster spot for my position. Maybe some of the NAIA schools, they're located in the same cities, close to the same beaches, and that's really what I'm looking for. Maybe some of those schools are going to be a good fit. We do the same thing with conference, is we email one school from one conference, one school from another conference, and really we should be adding schools from almost that entire conference into our list and reaching out to them, at least to start. So when you're building this list, again, try to keep it as broad as you can. So you're contacting and reaching out to as many schools, putting your name and your face and your film in front of as many college coaches as you can, so you can try to get as many college coaches to come watch you play. And they might not all be the perfect fit. I get that. Again, we're not narrowing down our list too small. We want to generate interest in you as an athlete. The next thing, this is where In the video, someone's going to tell you, and this is how you narrow down your list. You don't always need to narrow down your list. Some athletes get way too far ahead of themselves when they start narrowing down their list. Some athletes are in a position to do that earlier than others. Some athletes aren't in a position to really do that at all. And like I've said in some of my previous videos, anytime you put a filter, anytime you start narrowing down your list, you're missing out on opportunities. And depending on what you're looking for, maybe you're not interested in a school, and that totally makes sense. But just be sure you're not crossing schools off your list too early, because really, you're going to narrow down your list organically. It's going to happen just by the recruiting process happening. You're going to email 50 schools, 20 are going to email you back. Great. Interest in those 20 schools. You're going to get on the phone with half of those 20 schools, phone calls. Those 10 coaches are going to come watch you play. 5 are still going to be interested, right? The process is going to narrow itself down for you. If you do too much narrowing down from your end, again, missed opportunities, and we don't really want to miss out on opportunities. Thing number 5 is going to be reach schools. Reach schools is one of my favorite topics, mostly because people don't like me saying it, but reach schools are reach schools for a reason. They are a reach. Usually when we talk about a reach school, we're talking about a school that we can't reach. It is above us. And so we don't want to email those schools. We don't need to keep those schools typically on our list. If you want to go to school in Florida, that's awesome. Maybe UCF and Florida State are too big. And so we don't need to email them. We don't need to reach for our reach schools. What we need to do is spend our time and energy and focus on the schools where we're actually going to be able to play volleyball, on the schools that are actually interested in us, on the schools that are actually recruiting our position. The reach schools are a reach for a reason, and we shouldn't spend as much of our time and energy on those schools. I'm not against reaching out because you never know what's going to happen. Some opportunities might make themselves available down the road. Been there. Okay. So I completely understand that. But the time and energy that we spend needs to be mostly on the schools that are going to have mutual interest back in us. All right. Last thing about creating your list. One of the things that I see a lot of families do, Jason, we have a list of schools. Can you look at it? Sure. Send me over a spreadsheet. I see a lot of spreadsheets. Okay. I think that spreadsheets are fun. I use Notion. I don't use Excel very much anymore. Notion's a lot of spreadsheets. But I would encourage you, if you are struggling with creating your list and tracking information, to use something like Productive Recruit. Productive Recruit is not only going to have most of the information that you're going to put in that spreadsheet already in their system. It's going to help you keep track of all the information that you're trying to track in the spreadsheet anyway. And so not only is it going to save you time because you're not inputting all this information that you don't have to put in there, but there's ways for you to put notes on schools, say that you had a phone call, create tasks for yourself to send out emails to different colleges at certain times. There's a lot of different things in there. Productive Recruit's going to help you create your list. So if you're thinking, man, this creating a list is super daunting, I would encourage you to get something like Productive Recruit. I'll put a link in the description of this video so you guys can check them out. We use them for all of our individual athletes. They're great. They're fantastic. And I really encourage you guys to give them a shot. So that's it. Go create your list. It's a good start. It's also going to be the foundation that you turn back to when things get bumpy along the way, because chances are they're going to get bumpy. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you go subscribe to this channel, and I will see you next time.